Hello friends, welcome to UPSC AKHADA. This is the third video of 2022 psychology paper analysis. This is the paper 2 video. This is question number 5. Thank you for the response for the previous two videos. I hope you like them, you get the required content and the analysis of the paper. So let's start with the question 5E. The question is about using the principle of psychology, how to develop the team spirit in the sports person. So it's question from sports psychology, and in this question there are various principles which are for individual sports and some are for team sports. So we have to use the team sports principles to develop the team spirit. So here team spirits can be synonymous to the team cohesion or group cohesion. It could be the team effectiveness also. So these are the common words which are often used by UPSC in this type of questions. So I started with a quote in this answer. So it is a very old saying among sports coaches: a champion team will defeat a team of champions. And there are a number of examples which justify this quote. Because a champion team has a high team spirit. And for this, I use the example of Indian hockey team. Both men and women both emerged as a champion in Olympics because of group cohesion and task cohesion. So I simply bifurcated this team spirit into two aspects. One is group cohesion and another is task cohesion. Starting with the principles for group cohesion, it was suggested by Cox. सबसे पहले don't allow the formation of cliques in a big group or team. 3-4-3-4 group of players are formed and there are friction among them. So it led to the loss of team spirit or team effectiveness eventually decreases. It happened a number of times, like we follow Indian cricket. So nowadays there are also some players, some Virat Kohli gang is there, some Ashwin gang is there. So the team performance is going down. So this is the most important aspect. Create the we feeling, the players. So with the help of principles like superordinate goals or recategorization, we can create the we feeling. Need to create the sense of pride and then social identity. So you can say the Tajfel theory can be utilized here. Routine practice games, cooperation and collaboration are the two founding pillars of a team. So we should use them. Shaping training principles can be used in training to make that training more effective. If there is any tension or conflict, so we address it properly. Some use empathy to address the personal matters, warm and supportive environment with realistic goal setting, enhance good performance, and each player must be aware of their responsibilities. So these are the different principles we can use to make the team more cohesive. And the second aspect is task cohesion. It was given by Keen. Because when you are doing something, there should be equal contribution. Everybody feels my contribution matters. So for this, first aspect is prevent free riding. There should be no free rider. It is something like one is putting so much and other is putting so little. So when this is happening, with time there is a loss of goals, loss of performance because of this free ridership. This is a very common phenomenon in government offices also. So when we talk about the administration also in work psychology, so these aspects are effective there also. So you can use there. This is the way we integrate our knowledge. One aspect can be utilized in number of topics in psychology. Second aspect is the address the sucker effect. It is it is the output equity hypothesis. This you can say Raleigh related to rooms. equity model of motivation. It says ki one individual is putting a lot of efforts and other one is less efforts. So with time he thinks I'm not a sucker. Why should I put so much of effort? I should decrease my efforts because other one is also doing the same. So एक demotivation का environment सा create हो जाता है, and because of that, the team spirit goes down. So we should address it. And another one was evaluation apprehension. Coach will clearly says that each one of you will be monitored as per your task performance. इससे एक individual responsibility set हो जाती है, which allows everyone to prove themselves, or you can say to put their best efforts. And the last one is matching to the standard. So it is like we should clearly say, for example, in a football, you are practicing for penalty shootout. So you clearly say कि 10 में से 8 तो शॉट लगना ही चाहिए. This is the standard, minimum standard. Or if you are dribbling, so you should at least pass 40 times to move to the next session. So these are the simple tricks which can be utilized to enhance the task version. One aspect I want to add here, like the bifurcation aspect, which gives you the structure in this answer. And see the number of points. It reaches to 14. In real time scenarios, if we are reaching to 8 to 9, even then it is good. And then I concluded with the Henry Ford's quote, which is coming together as a beginning, keeping together as a progress, and working together as a success. So you can use the quotes also, the relevant ones. They enhance the beauty of your answer and give you plus half, plus one or plus half. And that is what we are fighting here. Coming to the next question is 5D. It is asking the throw light on negative impact of technological growth in our real life. So we should start with the Pew Research Center recent survey. It says कि 90% of the teens US में ऑनलाइन रहते हैं डेली और 24% के आसपास almost constantly ऑनलाइन रहते हैं. And this research is quite valid across the globe, even in countries like India also. So this kind of technological engagement has negative aspects definitely, which could be like there's attention problems in adolescence. अगर 3 साल से पहले ही टीवी देखना चालू कर देते तो there are some cognitive issues also. There's also fried study which have a negative impact of technology in education, which might be deterioration in student competencies like reading, writing, dehumanization of education because there is no direct interaction with the teachers. So social skills develop होने में भी issues होते हैं. Isolation of students, this is one of the bigger issues in COVID crisis because there's no interaction due to this lot of anxiety and depression developed in children also. And deepening social inequalities, this is quite relevant for India because of digital divide. So this is another big issue. And there's a internet gaming disorder, DSM-5 put it as a disorder now because children are obsessive about it, like games like PUBG, Free Fire, etc. Another study says that the use of technology may stunt the imagination of children because there's no need to imagine everywhere. There are a lot of things available, so why put cognitive load on yourself? Again, the shorter attention span is there. Short videos, especially these reels and this Instagram, negatively impacts our attention span. It has reduced significantly. Another antisocial effects, media violence, Anderson study was there, aggression or violence बढ़ा है. Self esteem पे भी impact पड़ता है because that like unrealistic beauty standards, anorexia nervosa and bulimia is there. Mean world hypothesis, like this world is a more dangerous place because of these propaganda videos. Everybody says this uh, XYZ XYZ propaganda or some this terrorism is spreading like wildfire. So these people think about the world is no longer a safer place, and because of the availability heuristic, so we strengthen our schemas. Yes, because 24 into 7, we got fed by these propaganda news. So we should be aware of all this. Health also sedentary lifestyle, eyes में issue हो जाता है, posture में issue हो जाता है, obesity बढ़ गई है children में. So these are the various aspects which are affecting negatively because of technology. Then disorders, FOMO हो जाता है, fear of missing out, because feeling of a prevention that one is missing out on information, events, experiences, because there's a techno stress का aspect है. And very recent term is technoference. It is like the interference of technology in our relationships. Because in a relationship, you both guys are involved in your cell phones. There's no interaction in between. So there's the interference. There's a depression, addiction, substance abuse due to modeling. So these are the different issues created by this technology in our real life scenario. And we should always end with some optimism or with some solution. So here I suggested, these are the various research findings. There should be the potential Goldilocks effects. Hope you all know the Goldilocks. If you don't know, please go back. It is one of the question asked by UPSC and I think 2016 or 17 prelims. In terms of technology use, they say moderate engagement. So moderate is the key word in online and digital services might actually benefit the subjective mental well-being, and that is what we want. So hope you find this answer of for any use. So moving further is to discuss the characteristics of entrepreneurial behavior. Very repetitive theme. Very repetitive theme in UPSC questions, so you should prepare it well. So I started with the Joseph Schumpeter. He's a very known psychologist who did a lot of work in the entrepreneurial psychology, or you can say work psychology also. So Schumpeter defined the entrepreneur as an agent of change, bringing into existence a new combination of means of production. Like I started with the definition. Then going to the characteristics, I started with the learning style as per the Globe. The accommodators learning style pertains to entrepreneurs. Other can be, but more preferred dominant style is accommodation. Then coming to the motivation and coordination aspects, so entrepreneurs has to be an ambassador, has to be a leader, has to be effective, efficient manager also. So there are different aspects in this. So he should be innovative. So leadership aspect is innovation focused. So this here entrepreneur falls. And the MIT, one of the MIT alumni, this Timmons et al., they find 14 important entrepreneurial characteristics. It should be drive, energy, self-confidence, ILC, the concept given by Rogers, low fear of failure, moderate risk-taking, ambiguity tolerance. So there are clear goal setting. So these are the number of points you can simply jot it down. And in conclusion, I give an initiative by a government where the entrepreneurship development program is going on. So you can say that these techniques to develop these characteristics in the students, like business blaster schemes of Delhi government. So techniques should be there to inculcate these characteristics in the budding entrepreneurs. So it's an easy question, and I tried some kind of innovation by putting the learning styles and the leadership styles. We usually forget these aspects. We directly jump here in these aspects. So if you add these, it will get you plus half or plus one. And again, our fight is here only. Now, the 5B is the ill effects of internet addiction among adolescents. So this question has an overlap with the previous one. So, an intervention also. So it has two aspects. First is the ill effects. So there was a recent study by Neyman's doctors that problematic internet use is emerging rapidly among adolescents. So It has various aspects like compulsive internet use, inappropriate excessive use, pathological internet use, internet addiction. So internet addiction is one of its part. So creates a lot of psychological, social, school and work difficulties. There is a recent study in the Mumbai which says that uh, they took IAT Young's internet addiction test of 987 students. So it find that there's a high score for anxiety, depression, and anxiety depression. Again, disorders. I took the same from the previous question because it fits in here. There are issues in social relationships, social isolation हो जाता है. So you know the internet paradox hypothesis कि social media is meant for connections, but on the contrary, it is what it is creating. It's isolation. So we should be aware of the usage of social media in a restrictive manner. And then other aspect is interpersonal communication. There's a filter model which says that it is creating de-individuating effect because we don't know on various groups to whom we are chatting. There are issues of bullying also. Because of the sense of anonymity, we lose our social barriers, and there are a number of cases in which women, girls, or even everybody who's using social media got abused because of this anonymity aspect. It become more self-centric, even at the level of narcissism also, because everybody's posting their photos, showing their bigger than life images of what they are, which is not true, because you can't judge anybody's life with a single event or with a single photo. So we should know. Another aspect is a cultural lag between what the materialistic aspect and the non-materialistic aspect of the culture. Materialistic aspect is this technology. Non-materialistic is the values, attitudes, schemas. This technology is changing because for previous generation technology might be a typewriter, but now it's AI or ML. So the devices run by this robots. So there's a time now because we need some time to adapt. We need some time to synchronize between these two aspects. So there's a lag. Next aspect is the unrealistic expectations. Eating disorders already covered before. Aspiration explosion, like because of these Insta reels, they say this Insta influencer living a very lavish life, and we also want to do that. So delinquency might occur due to that. Unrealistic expectations हो जाती हैं, frustration, then aggression, even violence, delinquency is there. High sensation seeking attitude, low tolerance for boredom because every time you need something to keep yourself busy. So there's a vicious cycle for that. So see, in this answer, what I tried, I make three four different headings, okay, in which we put different points. You can also count them to show that there's a quite number of points you have written. I also written a relevant study, so which is India specific, which is also beneficial in your answers. Now coming to intervention. So whenever you talk about internet addiction or one of the most key person is Mr. Young, which also gave the test for internet addiction. So he suggested some approaches, cognitive behavior approaches to counter the negative impacts. Practice opposite time of internet use कि उसके अलावा क्या कर सकते हैं. Use excellent stoppers, engage yourself in real events or activities, set goals, participate in particular application that the client is unable to control. So like uninstall that, use reminder cards to do things, develop a personal inventory, enter a support group like alcohol anonymous type groups. We are not going to use uh, the internet for this much time. Family therapy is also very effective in this. Then I give again a case study for that. There's a restart program in US Washington DC, which is an integrated approach which uses technology detoxification with drug alcohol treatment, 12-step work, CBT, ACT. So it's a good. If I found this, you find in India, you can also include that in your answer. It will give you plus half or plus one. So plus half or plus one aspect is very necessary in paper two because it will give you the agent you will cross the barrier of 150 or 160 in paper 2. Then, in conclusion, there could be a futuristic suggestion. So, in this, we can say the screening, because before developing a disorder, you can prevent it. So, you can give some preventive measures. You should screen in school settings for this PYU or this addiction, the psychological stress due to it. So, there should be programs we can use. NEP 2020, you can include that because it will ensure the well-being of our future generation. Now coming to the last question of this video, explain the concept of social integration. Citing suitable example, they explicitly mentions the examples. So I have two examples for it. So starting the answer. So APA defines, American Psychological Association defines the social integration of the process by which separate groups are combined in a unified society, which pursued as a deliberate policy, like they want to come in, so they become an integrated part of a society, different diverse groups. So there's an individual acceptance. ये ऐसा नहीं कि group level पे चीजें enforce कर देगी. No, every individual accepts the different members of different groups. So it promotes values, relationships, institutions, people, enable people to participate, and there's a basis of equality of rights, equity, and dignity. So one of the case studies is the Neighborhood Community Network program in India. It started in 1970s, which tried to include the women in the decision making. It also worked in the state of Kerala. Please read that. You will find very beneficial, and these are not self-made by me. You find it in the social integration in action. There's a PDF. You will find this on Google. You can search it. The second one is an example from the Latin America, that is from Peru, Association Civil Apeo Familiar. This is for the dropouts from the school. So they set up libraries, they start reading program. So there's a 5 to 8% reduction in the dropout rates, and children start coming to school. In conclusion, how to promote social integration. So there are three aspects. One is to recognize the diverse social groups. Second one is representation, giving them a political voice. And third one is the redistribution of socio-economic resources. So this is the futuristic, optimistic, solution-oriented conclusion. So this will allow you plus half here, and these two different examples also give you plus half because you explicitly mentioned the two examples they asked, you delivered. So I want to just say for paper two, these real life examples or case studies where you showed the application of various principles. For example, see, in this it clearly mentioned two psychologists are available to help to solve behavioral problems. So this is a very important aspect in psychology because psychologists, as a community psychologist, they are engaged in solving a society problem. So you are showing it that social integration is there with the help of psychology knowledge. So it makes your answer more relevant. So that's all for now. Thank you for watching the video.